All right. Hello, hello, and welcome to the latest edition of Training That Doesn't Suck. I am Susan Gaddy, your host, and I have brought forth a really exciting member of my Training That Transforms community who is an expert in the world of marketing. And if you know me at all and you know what I teach, even though I'm a learning person, right? The thing that I know creates even better training is advancing your own personal marketing skills. It really is kind of the biggest barrier. You don't your expertise is not the problem. It's how you shape, form, utilize, and then go out into the world with that expertise that a lot of times is the make or break in the top of your sales funnel. So getting people to buy in, but also in that critical phase of the nurture process where you already know this is a person for me, but they're just not quite ready for what I have to offer. How do you stay connected? Those are two really good marketing strategies. And Bilal is here today to help us bring this into a little bit more clarity and give us a three-step process that we can use to get even better at becoming marketers, even though we're not. So, Bilal, welcome. He's the
Thank
CEO
you
and
so much.
owner of Client Acquisition and a really amazing marketing guy who's got like the best attitude. I love connecting with people that live in abundance, that think in abundance, that know the value of showing up and sharing. And he's here today to walk us through this process. So, welcome so much.
Thank you so much, Susan, for organizing such a great event today. And I really appreciate your energy, your time, and your stamina as well, being as a woman entrepreneur. And that's really amazing. Let's get started.
I love it. I love it. And stamina is the thing. Don't like you're that's a great topic for another day. Stamina is half the battle. So jump right into us. We're talking about marketing, how to use your expertise to connect even better with, you know, if you're a learning leader, you need to connect with your business partners and you need to connect with your constituents. You need to connect with your participants. If you're a coach or a consultant, a practitioner in some way. You need to attract new people into you so that they understand what they have. What's the best way that people can get started doing that? Can you tell us a little bit about that, Bilal?
Yeah, good question by the way. So that's really amazing, and that's a really hot topic in the market because people have ideas, people have everything, and they're ready to get started, but they don't know where they should start. Either
Where?
they should go with the organic, either they should go with the organic marketing, or they should go directly with the paid marketing, right? So that's something really an interesting question, and let me explain. And I will try my best to explain in a short and simple and sweet way, so that every type of people or every type of audience can understand that easily, right? So initially, when you are starting, you have idea or something in your mindset that come up one day, and you try to sell that online as a service or a product. But before that, you should do some market research and analysis in the market. If there is a problem for that solution, then you should provide the solution. Otherwise, find a problem and then provide a solution to specific problem you find that, right?
Yeah,
So that's
I
the
love
initial
that. I
thing.
love that. If I were to put that into my own words, it would be the pull versus the push, right? So when you
Yeah,
have an expertise and you know it and you want to, we're pushing that out to everybody, they don't know they actually need that. So finding out what their problem is the pull is the attraction because you become the best
exactly.
person in the room because you solve the problem. Do I have that right?
Exactly. That's something I would like to say about that. So I was
Mhm.
initially trying to say that before starting anything, before going that deep into the online market, make sure that you are providing us to a solution for which there is a problem existing in the market, right?
Yeah.
So that's how we make it the irresistible offer. So before doing anything, you should have your offer available that you have to share with your audience. That will be your initial thing. That will give you the sales, that will give you the leads, that will give you a roadmap where you want to go, right?
Love it.
In other sense we call it customer avatar, or we call it customer core message. So you know about your audience, you know about what like solution you are providing, you know their pain points, you know what are their frustrations, everything, right? The more you know about your audience, you better sell. So
Yep, I
that's
love
the
it.
first thing. Yeah, that's the first thing.
That's the first
Every
thing. What's the
yeah,
problem?
that's the
What's
first
the
thing.
problem you solve, right? You have your expertise. What's the problem you solve? Now, this next one was the one I love the most. Tell people what you think the next most important thing to do is in this process.
After you have an irresistible offer, you have to build something, an authority online. You have to make sure that you're presenting your offer with the right audience, right? So initially, for example, if you have a Facebook page or you have a Facebook profile or something like that, try to make it like, try to paint, like if we have a house, like like it's a part of a house, and for example, we design and decore it accordingly to the color scheme. For example, we design it for small children. The color and everything will be resonating with the situation. So someone goes to the room, it will clearly understand that it's a children's room, right? So in that sense, if someone enters or see your profile or see your page, they should know that this is the person that have the solution available. Initially, you have to represent in such a way that you should have a Facebook profile cover image, you should have
Mhm.
your descriptions there, you should have your clear call to actions available there, right? So that's something really interesting thing that you should take care before sharing your message with your audience. So when you start sharing your knowledge or sharing your message with the audience, they will surely come back and see what the like you are doing in the market, and they will
Yep.
be, if you have listed the pain points in your timeline in your content, they will surely like contact you all automatically. That's how you
I
build
love it.
relationships,
I love it.
right?
We could probably do like hours on setting up like a profile. So I love that little bit of extra information. It's the, what's the solution? We need to present ourselves as the person. The other thing that I want you to talk about, because I thought this was really so impactful, is this idea of our own mindset as being kind of the
Exactly.
biggest barrier to our success. Would you talk a little bit
Exactly.
about that for me? Because I think that's really powerful.
Yeah, that's something really interesting. But before that, I would like to add something here that I forgot initially. So when they are starting, they have to decide whether either they should go with the paid marketing or they should go with the organic marketing, right?
Okay.
So I would recommend that if they're just starting right away, they should go with the organic marketing, because if they go directly with the paid marketing, they
Yep.
have to spend a lot in the testing, trial and error phase, right? While
Yep.
if they go with the organic marketing, they can they don't need to spend a lot of money for the trial and error phase. They can try the like they can test out the offer, they can choose multiple audiences at a time, they can change everything, and for the change they don't need to spend any money,
Yeah,
right?
I agree. I agree completely with you. If you can't get people to like your content on social media, they're not going to buy it in an ad. So it's a
Yeah,
lot less expensive. It's a lot less time consuming. You can save yourself hours. You can save yourself thousands of dollars if it's not converting in that organic strategy. I'm totally down with that.
it's a part of mindset right now that people believes that they have to run ads initially to get started, and that's wrong.
And that's not true. Yeah, I love that. Yep.
Yeah,
What
that's
else? Tell
wrong.
me more about
So
the mindset. What else gets in people's way?
okay, so regarding a mindset, you should have confidence in your offer initially before selling it to your audience.
Yep.
You have
I'm gonna
100%
I'm gonna
confidence.
stop you right there because I do believe that is a massive barrier to success. And people are like, "Oh, I'm confident." It's not about you being confident, right? It's about you being confident in the offer that you're bringing to the table. That's a
Exactly.
completely different thing. right? It's
Exactly.
almost like you have to almost be, um, you have to have this crazy opinion of just how good it is. And for most people, we're raised to believe that thinking so highly of yourself is, prideful, and that that's not a good thing. And so we often tend to like pull in or hide from truly our power. And it's the unleashing of that power that becomes so powerful to people. Am I saying that correctly, or would you say it
Perfect.
another way?
It's super perfect. Super perfect.
Yeah.
So, if we explain in more better way, let me explain my story. So
Yeah.
when I started my online journey, right? So when you start anything, any type of business, you want leads, you want more clients, you want more type of stuff, right? So like when I started doing my business, like the client acquisition, that's the first thing that comes up in my mind. Like I have to implement that strategy. Like I build a framework actually, right? Having a lot of experience in the market, I build a framework that usually help my audience to get more clients organically, and also with the paid marketing. But initially I help them to grow organically. So for that type of audience, to build a trust in the market, I satisfy myself initially, and I build the client acquisition for myself initially, so that I can build it by my own self. So if that works for me, then it will work for my audience. That's the
And
mindset.
I love it. And do you feel like that increased your internal confidence? Like, did it give you the
100%.
boost, right? The boost you
100%.
needed? 100%, right? 100%. Yeah, I honestly think if anybody walks away from anything today, it's that probably the biggest barrier to your success right now is your, inability to believe in how freaking amazing you are, right? Like
Exactly.
we don't think of ourselves that way. And I love, Bilal, that you gave everyone a really clear path to do that. Did you get a result for yourself? Then you are your best client. And
Exactly.
you can
Initially.
tell your own story, which is credible, which builds confidence, right? Which allows you to show up and really take up space and be this crazy amazing person that knows how to do something that quite frankly most people don't and
Exactly.
would probably be willing to pay for. So I love
Exactly.
that. I think that was a great example. All right, so far we've got to be solving a problem, right? Organic is the way to go in the beginning. Once the organic is working, then go to paid ads. How are you going to, escalate yourself even more? Use yourself as your first test case. So if you don't have
Exactly.
other clients or you're just getting started, you are your own client and you're going to speak about you and your results. Perfect.
Exactly.
Now,
Exactly.
let's get to the good stuff. We have all those things loaded. Bilal and I talked about two of the primary ways that you can use marketing in your business strategy. So he's going to give you both of those ways and when is the right time to use each one. So Bilal, I'm going to turn it over to you. Tell us about the two ways and when is it the right time to use them?
So you asking specifically about the organic and paid marketing?
We're talking about lead gen versus case study.
Okay, the lead generation and case studies, right?
Mhm.
So both are interesting topics, right? So let's me explain about the case studies, right? We use this term when you have already some number of customers in your pipeline, right? And you're working with them for a long time, right? So while you create a case study, you have to make sure that you are you have solved a problem. They were suffering due to that problem, and you provide a solution to them. You have to write a complete customer journey in that, right? You can
Mhm.
do that by just having, like, if you have a client success story, you can do it by recording a live interview with your client, right? In which you must prepare yourself and write some question initially before interviewing your client, right? So for
Yep.
example, you should put questions like what was the issue you were facing and at that time, what was the struggling part at that time, right?
Mhm.
And how I was able to provide you a solution. How I was like, what was my part in removing that frustration.
Right. So this is
So
where
you
your
have
genius comes into play, right? It's your methodology, it's your strategy, it's your genius in the world. How did that actually solve this problem? Am I correct with saying that?
exactly, and
Awesome.
one I wanna put here a pro tip in that process. Like the pro tip is try to emotionally record that.
That's a
Put
good
put
that's a
put
good caveat.
emotionally,
It's the
yeah,
emotion, right? It's the experience. Yep. Not the
yeah.
facts,
You have
right? Nobody cares about the facts, but like the emotion. I felt this way and then I felt that way. This is the right, right? Okay, I love it. I love it. So that's the case study. And when is it the best time to use the case study?
the best time to use a case study is when you have a bunch of customers already in the pipeline, right? So
Gotcha.
you must need to make sure that you're working with that specific client, like you are working with that client specifically for a long time. So you have a complete customer journey from
And what
where
do
you
you
start,
think?
how
I'm
it
sorry to
goes, and
interrupt,
how.
but I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to just clarify. When you say long time, what does that mean to you?
Long term means that there is something like when initially I said that there should be emotional story in that in your case study. That's more attracting,
Right,
right?
right.
Emotionally means that like people suffering for a long time, and you provide them a solution, and they implement it in a long time. Not like success is not overnight, right?
Right, right.
So
Do you have
there
like an
should.
average? Like what do you see when it comes to case studies? How long does it normally take someone to 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 be in the process long enough to see a really great result and have like a true rich story? What do you, is there an average that you've seen?
So for example, you are changing someone's life. Like you should have numbers in your mind, like how much time should we utilize if we want to change someone's life, right? It takes time. It can be
Yeah.
6 months, it can be more than 3 months, right? It's not something a week,
Right.
right?
It's not,
It
yep,
should.
yep. I love that.
So
Okay, I
that.
wanted to try and give people some benchmarks because, sometimes, this is a bit of a higher level strategy because you have to have been doing this for some time, and sometimes it is like I know for myself personally, I just followed up with a client recently who I did work for about 2 years ago. And we just finally had the conversation about how has this been working for you? Right?
Exactly.
So, the pandemic happened, like all kinds of things happened. And here's the other truth is sometimes it didn't work. So like sometimes you go through the process and you're like, oh, that didn't necessarily work. But I want to tell people that's an even better part of the story because then you get to talk about the tweaks and the changes and the things that we helped people to make to get the result that they wanted, right? A lot of times we give up way too soon. So anyone that's listening, you know, you might not be ready for case studies yet because it is a process. It does take time, but when you start getting those are hugely powerful. Bilal, would you say it's safe to say that once you have these first couple of case studies, these first couple of testimonies, it's like pushing the boulder up the hill, and once you get these done, it just like it's that momentum you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, exactly. So I would like to say here, like if you want to record a client testimonial, like a case study with your client, make sure that you must have a tenure of more than 8 months or 9 months. That's fine.
That's a good
So you,
guideline. I like that. That's a
yeah,
good guideline. Yep.
yeah. So you in that specific time frame, you have a lot more to explain. You can explain more. You can go emotionally. Uh, uh, you can celebrate the wins. You can also celebrate, you can explore the failures that was happen in that time frame, right? So it
Yeah.
will be a complete story having
Yeah.
the failures, the wins, like up and downs, every single thing that happen in specifically.
I love
The
it.
more
I
time,
love it.
the more, yeah, the more time, like if you increase that time frame, the story will be more interesting.
Right.
But it should not be longer more than a year or two, right?
Okay. That's really great. That's really great feedback. So, case study is awesome for those of you that are already like further in the process, getting results. And now you're getting into the tweaks and the changes and the things that like just accelerate your performance off the hook. So, take us down the other side for those that are just getting started. Maybe this is their first program that they're creating, their first course. Maybe it's new content that they're working on. They could be an established person, but they're working on new content. How can they use lead generation to get started? To walk people through that before we wrap up today.
Okay, so lead generation is amazing thing and it's really easy. So
I
basically,
love to hear you say that because it's excruciating to me. I'm not going to lie. I feel like lead generation is like exhausting. I'm not good at it.
okay, so let me explain the quickest path to get generate leads, and I will let you know the simplest path and way to do that, right? So,
Okay.
as we discussed earlier, like you should have an irresistible offer. You have to make sure that you are solving a problem, right? And you are
Yep.
confident in your offer and your services and product. And
Love it.
initially, you are trying trying to be a client of yourself initially. You have to sell the product or service to yourself initially. If you are a success in that one, then it's something you can say 100% like it will also work for your audience, right?
Great summary. That's a
That's
great
the first
recap
thing.
of one and two. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, that's the very first thing. And the second thing is, when you have everything done, your offer is done, you know about your audience, you have the customer avatar, you have the core message available, you have done the core work, right? The second thing is you have to build your, you have to optimize your Facebook profile, or you can say you have, if you have a Facebook page, then you have to optimize that accordingly, right? So you should
Yep.
have a
Which we're
cover
not going to go
cover
into
photo.
today. I think that's for another day. Let's stay real tight on the lead generation. Then what do we do from there?
So sorry.
Just keep going. I want to just keep keeping the conversation moving around what's after you optimize your profile. What do they do next?
Okay, so after optimizing the profile, they should be more focused in sending or spreading their core message with their audience.
The core message. Okay, love it.
The core message can be something that's solving a problem. A statement is enough. Like, um, content marketing is a bigger field, and we can talk more about in more detail. But that's the specific term I want to use right now. So they have to more focus with their content marketing. They have to write content that resonates with their audience. And I want to add something here again, one more thing here.
Hmm.
So that's the statement I'm normally use with my audience, like right offer, right audience at right time. Right offer,
Right
right audience.
offer, right audience at the right time is a
Yeah,
yes. Is a
exactly.
yes.
It's a
Okay.
yes. It's a big yes. Millennials are using the strategy. So they create that such type of content that resonate with their audience specifically. In their while they're creating content, they write down their pain points that attracts the audience, because that's the main thing. Like hook story offer is a formula to write content, right? So the
Yep.
hook, in the hook, when you are installing a hook, you have to make sure that you are adding a pain point, right?
Yep.
So hook something like, for my audience, I call it what if I let you know how to generate 50 plus leads in 7 days.
What was
So
that?
generating
50,000?
leads,
What was that? 50,000 leads in 7 days? Is that what you
no,
said?
50 plus, 50
Oh,
plus in a
50
week.
plus. Okay, I was gonna say because honestly, 50,000 seems like too much and I wasn't buying it,
No,
but 50 sounds like a really nice number. I like that.
exactly,
Yes, yes, I would like to know about that. It's that simple, right?
exactly.
Yep. And
So you
listen, if
have
nobody says yes, then where's the disconnect, do you think?
your audience is not resonating the value you are providing. They are not consuming the content you are providing. They don't
Right.
have the problems, like they don't want leads, they want something else, right?
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha. Yep.
you have to change your offer, you have to change your audience as well. So
Yeah, I
right
was gonna
offer,
say it could be you're not you're right. I love I have this saying, are you in the right church? Right?
yeah,
If you want to talk about Catholicism in a temple, no one in the temple is even going to pay any attention to you. So you got to get to the right church, right?
yeah,
Then you
exactly,
have to have the right people. Then once you're in the right church, I love the saying, are you in the right pew? Because every pew of people is looking for or needing a little something different. And this is where, it's just the fine tuning. Are you in the right church? That's the first question I ask myself. Like, do I have the right people in front of me who actually need this? And if I don't, sometimes I've had to change platforms. So there was a time I was on Facebook, then I went to LinkedIn, then I went to email marketing. Like I went to different platforms to actually find my people so that I was in the
exactly,
right church. Then I could like get a little bit more into the details of the message. Is that what you help people to do?
exactly. And the amazing thing is that while generating leads, it's really important to find your audience.
Yep.
If you find your audience, it's really easy to generate leads,
I
right?
know, then it's easy. This is the thing I want everyone to know. If it's hard, you're doing something wrong. You're doing
Exactly,
something wrong, right? If it's hard,
exactly,
you're doing something wrong. You need to follow someone like Bilal, reach out to someone like Bilal, right? Ask a friend, ask a confidant. Like if it's hard, it just simply means you don't know what you're doing, and that's okay. We don't have to know everything, but we do have to know the people that can help us. Bilal is definitely one of them in this key area.
exactly.
Um, yep.
And to
So
find your, yeah, let me
go
add
ahead. No,
something.
add your last comment, and then we're gonna get wrapped up for today.
Yeah, and the last thing I would like to add is find like how to find ideal audience. It's a really good question, and I think so it will be really helpful for your like every type of audience, right? That's watching this video. So if you want to find your real audience, you have to find the category king of that service or product. For
Wait, say that
example,
for me again. Who do I have to find?
you have to find the category king.
The category king?
Yeah.
Oh, I
For
love
example,
this. Tell me what that means.
okay, so for example, you are a coach, right?
Yep.
You are a coach, like health coach. You have to find that someone that's already doing amazing in the market, that has amazing fan following, that has amazing a list of people that already have in that space, or you can call it a group, right?
Yep.
For example, you are building your own group and you want to build your audience, and you will only add your type of audiences, you will not add others audiences, right?
Right.
Exactly. So similarly, you have to find your category king initially, and then find that the group, so that you can also join that group. Find the category king, and then find the group.
Yep. Find the group. Okay.
Find the group of that category king and join it.
Yep.
There are multiple type of groups available on Facebook right now. They are public, like there are multiple type of audiences in that groups. So just make sure that you are in the right group. They are private, they are not public. Join the premium groups of a specific category king, right?
Hmm.
And try to make sure that you are following their rules and regulations, you are not breaking them. You
Yep.
have to observe their way of posting in the group. and you
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
follow that. You have to follow that.
I love that. I'm going to add something because this is how I think of that. I love that so much. I love just because they've gotten so good. They've gotten so big. They've fine-tuned everything so much. They give you insight knowledge you would never have on your own. So I'm with you on that. I actually do that. I didn't even know there was a name for it. And I actually love when they have a podcast or something like that because I will often share that. I know it's very traditional for a lot of people say to go into their groups and post high value content. And I think that's a great strategy. But here's what I like even more personally. I'm just giving my personal thing. I really like making things win win. So the more I promote that person that's 3 to 5 layers ahead of me, right? The more I associate myself with them, the more it's a win for both of us. So I take a little bit of a different stance. I don't know how you feel about this personally, but I wanted to just acknowledge that as like a person learning this, I really didn't like this concept of like being in their group and like, you know, it's their group. You want to build your own group. What I think the value is what are the things that they're doing in that group that people like? Do that. What are they talking about and saying? Can you share them and attract people that way? Just a little bit of a different take on that. I'm curious to hear your opinion, Bilal, on that.
Yeah, that's really good question. So while growing a group is all about what your audience need. If you're providing what your audience needs, that will specifically obviously grow, right? So you have to make sure that your content is resonating with your audience. That's the keyword. That's
That's
the
the key.
keynote. Like, yeah, content is the king, and
Content is
you
the
have to,
king.
yeah,
Or the
you have
queen,
to utilize.
or the queen. I'm
Exactly.
gonna say find your queen, right? Or
Yeah,
whomever, your bishop, I don't know, whatever you like. Well, Bilal, I can't tell you how great this was. I've appreciated this so much. Thank you for spending time with us. You told us about how to identify the problem, right? I'm just gonna do a quick recap here. How to identify the problem. Should it be organic? Should it be paid? Go back into the meat of this to really hear the answers to that almost the key biggest barrier to success is our own selves, our own mindset.
mindset.
we
Yeah,
we have to believe 1,000% in what we're doing. If there's even a little bit of like wobble in us, we will repel people is the way I'm going to put it. And then you got to pick the right strategy. Are you in a lead generation where you need to connect with new people? Or are you in a place where you're further enough down the funnel, down the process, that it's really about telling more of the story of success? Did I do
exactly.
a good job summarizing everything there?
Yeah, that's really perfect. There's a
I love it.
lot more to discuss, but that's something we should cover in the next coming up event. And I really appreciate that we have a really long event today. So
I
I
know we
really
try to keep these a little
appreciate
bit
it.
shorter, but it was just so good. It's worth having like one finished product, and maybe we'll just sort of, chop it up into smaller pieces as we need, but then we have sort of one final piece from beginning to end. Listen, I'm going to give you the last word. Where can people connect with you? What do you offer? Tell us what you offer and how someone can connect with you if they want to work with you.
Okay, so basically, before that, I have a statement that I would love to share with the audience.
Go ahead.
Is that stop blaming and get started doing the right thing in the right way.
There you go.
Okay.
Stop blaming. Get started doing the right thing at the right time. I love it.
Exactly. And regarding my services, I do offer paid and organic marketing both, but I recommend go like if you're just starting right away, I would recommend to go with the organic marketing, and then I help my clients to scale up using the paid ads, because using the paid ads, they will be able to target millions in a week.
Right. It's like adding fuel. It's just adding fuel to the fire. But you got to get a fire started. If you've ever tried
Exactly.
to start a fire, it takes a little bit of time. But once you get that fire going, if you just keep adding the wood and the kindling and like boom, you get like this massive beautiful explosion of a fire that can burn really bright. right? And for a
Definitely.
long, long time. So I love
Definitely.
that. Thank you again. Have an amazing afternoon.
Thank you so
And
much,
I
Susan, for
appreciate
your
you being
time.
here.
Thank you so much.